Yes, hello. Very good
Hello, sir.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. My name is Habiba Bukhari. I belong to Munger district of Bihar. I have
Mhm.
done my BLLB honors from the Illegal Muslim University in the year 2020, and then I did my LLM in criminal law from the Illegal Muslim University itself in the year 2023, and since then I'm preparing for judicial service examinations.
Okay. All right. So, you have mentioned that you have studied from Aligarh Muslim University, right?
Yes, sir.
So, who established it?
So the founder of the Aligarh Muslim University, uh, earlier by the name of Mohammedan Anglo Oriental College,
Mhm.
was Sir Sayyid Ahmed Khan.
Sir Syed Khan. Okay. So, is this Aligarh Muslim
Yes, sir.
University is having a minority status right now?
So the matter is sub judice in the Honorable Supreme Court, but the last character which the Aligarh Muslim University possessed as the Central University, because it was established by the Act of Parliament in the year 1920.
So, therefore, whether currently at present it is a minority status or not?
No, sir. Currently, it is a Central University.
And if it had been a minority status, then what all advantages it will be having?
Say the minority issue, education, education to minorities, the religious education can be imparted here for minorities.
Okay. Under which article of Constitution?
So under Article 30 of the Indian Constitution,
What it says?
minority institutions can be established
Mhm. By whom? On what
by
basis?
minorities itself on a religious and linguistic minority basis.
Okay. All right. Okay. And you have also mentioned that you have done LLM in 2023, right? So what was your topic
So the
of
topic for my
dissertation?
desert So the topic for my dissertation was a critical analysis of the bail provisions in India with special reference to the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967.
Critical analysis of bail provision with reference to the unlawful activities of,
Unlawful Activities Prevention Act UAPA.
okay, UAPA. Okay. What is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act?
So the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act is kind of a preventive detention law where if any unlawful activities has been done to threaten the sovereignty, security and national integrity of India, then the suspected person or the accused person can be detained by the national investigation agencies and yes.
Okay. All right. What is preventive detention and under which article it can be allowed?
Yes, sir. So preventive detention uh, uh, is a provision where a suspected person who can threaten the security or integrity of India can be detained on the suspicion that he may be involved in such activities, and it is mentioned under Article 22 of the Indian Constitution.
Okay. And you have also given a reference of sovereignty, right? According to you, what is sovereignty and by which amendment it was added?
The sovereignty means any nation is independent in its decisions, whether administrative or political, and such a nation is not under the sovereignty of any other nation. And it was added in the preamble of our constitution through the 42nd Amendment Act.
All right, you please tell me that why we should select you as a civil judge,
So,
considering you a female and over the males. Why should we select you? Because later on you will get married, you will have a lot of responsibilities. So on those, once we select you, or once we select a candidate, we will be investing a lot of our resources. And later on, if suppose the female generally that we see in our institution, that females join, but later on after the marriage and other obligations, they refuse to do. So why we select you?
So I have invested my time, emotions, and labor to become a civil judge, and this is my ambition to become a civil judge. And just because I'm a female and I will be having matrimonial obligations upon me, it doesn't. It will not affect my professional life, as we have uh, many examples in for political we can say see our honorable finance minister Mrs. Nirmala Sitaraman. She is discharging her duty very with great responsibility, and we have a chairperson of Stock Exchange Board of India. They are all females, and they are doing great in their professional life, and while they are being married. So my matrimonial life or my married life will never going to affect my professional life.
Okay, all right. One more question.
Yes, sir.
Suppose you have been posted near Jharkhand area where there is a lot of tribal activities going on, right?
Yes,
And there is a person who is a very named gangster, right?
yes, sir.
And his matter is listed before you
Yes, sir.
for regarding bail.
Yes,
And just before a date of bail, you have got one phone call, right? And that phone call is by that gangster only. That madam, my matter is pending before you. You have your family. You have to look after so many things. So you kindly do consider it. What will
okay.
be your reaction?
So I will take all
And
the
that threat would be a life threatening to you and to your family members.
so I will do every possible thing to take judicial or legal recourse for the protection of myself as well as my family. But I will never bow down before him and go against the procedure of law.
What will be the legal course of action you will be taking thereafter, after getting a call?
So I will take police protection. I will request for police protection for myself
Under
as
which
well as my
provision you will
family.
get a police protection?
Sorry, sir. Right now, I'm not able to recall the exact provision, but I have knowledge that mm, if any threaten, if anyone threatens me regarding anything,
What kind
so
of
I can take
offense that person has committed while calling you?
uh, um, interfering in the judicial interfering with me in the discharge of the judicial proceeding.
So in night you were doing nothing, right? And in night he had called. So was it interfering in your powers?
So it may comes under criminal intimidation.
So you're changing your answer?
Uh, sir, no, but he was threatening me regarding the discharge of my judicial duty. So
Okay.
ultimately, it is he is interfering me. He is disturbing me in the discharge of my judicial duty.
What
Uh,
will be the sections you will be imposing on this separate offense?
I'm sorry, sir. Right now, I'm not able to recall the exact provisions.
What is criminal intimidation?
Using threat or by use of threat or criminal force, intimidating a person uh, to do something which is not legal,
Okay.
which is against his will.
Okay. All right. So you please tell me that what are your areas of interest in law?
Sir, I have given equal importance to all the subject, but
Mhm.
I'll be comfortable in Transfer of Property Act, Personal Laws, Indian Contract Act.
All right. All right. And what are your hobbies? What you do in your free time?
Sir, as I live in hostel since my childhood, so I
Mhm.
prefer to cook to get
Okay.
good food.
One, I would like to have one line answer, right?
Yes,
Okay. My question to you is that since you have studied throughout your life in hostel, what you have learned from your hostel life?
to be patient, and time will pass. If I am facing a difficult time right now, I should wait and be patient and not to be very judgmental of any person or anything, and not to and it that the difficult time will pass and good time will come, surely.
So you were a believer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
And a very
What,
patient believer.
okay. What you have mentioned about your hobbies?
The cooking.
Cooking. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what type of food you cook? Continental, Indian, or something else?
Sir, Indian.
Okay. Okay. So I'll ask you one more question. Whether there is some um this is related to cooking only. I'm not able to get that thing. I'll ask you that later on. Okay. Uh, so you have mentioned that Transfer of Property Act is your areas of interest, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is the doctrine of marshalling?
Yes, sir. So can I take a moment?
Please.
Sir, I can make a guess. Marshalling is when uh, one party who is obliged to do, uh, like when mortgager is mortgages is has a right to redeem. Mortgager has right to redeem his mortgage property by paying the loan, and he is not able to do so, and in his place any other person has done that, it amounts to marshalling.
Why the other
And
person will do it?
he is having any interest.
Okay. Okay. Just a minute. And what do you mean by feeding grant by estoppel?
Sir, feeding the grant by estoppel is an equity principle where uh, the when a person has transferred any property to the transferee, and he does not have any right to to transfer that property at that moment when the transfer has been made, and subsequently he has got that property, uh, the title of that property, then he will be stopped by the law, and he will be required to deliver such property to the transferee, and he cannot take the plea that at the time of making the transfer he does not have any right to transfer such property.
What is subsequent voidability in Indian Contract Act, Habiba?
Yes, sir. So subsequent voidability means that when a contract has been uh, completed, it was a valid contract, but after the completion of the making of after the making of the contract, certain uh, certain events happened which makes the enforceability or the performance of the contract either unlawful or illegal, uh, or impossible. It amounts to subsequent voidability of the contract.
So can you give me some examples of with the sections?
Yes, sir. Under Section 56 of the Indian Contract Act, subsequent
So that
voidability
is,
of the
it is talking about subsequent voidability, or is it talking about void contract?
contract which subsequently have become void.
So what is the difference between voidable and void contract?
So voidable contracts are those contracts uh, uh, which are valid until it has become void by the party who can make
Void
it
by the
void.
party? Under which circumstances?
Under the circumstances mentioned under uh, Section 15 to 18 of the Indian Contract Act.
Only 15 to 18?
Majorly under 15 to 18, when a contract is made either when
Apart
the
from 18?
so apart from 18, when the consent is caused and consent is not free. When the consent of a party is caused and not free, then such contract becomes voidable contract, and the party whose consent was caused can make has the option either to continue with that contract or to make such contract void or nullify.
You have not answered it correctly. Would you like to answer it again? Subsequent voidability and void contract.
Subsequent voidability and void contract. Yes, sir. Void contracts are those contracts uh, the enforceability or the performance of such contract becomes impossible subsequently after the making of the contract, either by the due to natural calamity or
So that is
due
the
to the
frustration of
change of
contract,
law.
right? You are
Yes, sir.
referring to frustration of contract. Is there any other circumstances where the contract becomes void apart from 56?
Yes, sir. If a contract has been made for impossible uh, or
So that is
uncertain
void contract or void agreement?
void agreement.
I'm talking about void contract.
Sorry, sir. I'm not able to recall at the moment.
Okay. What is minors agreement? And what is
Sir,
the fate of minors agreement?
sir, minors agreement are void are no agreement in the eyes of law, because one of the requirement for the competency of the parties to the contract is that such party has attained the age of majority, and this case was first come into in the case of Mohari Bibi versus Dharmdas Ghosh, where it was declared that the any agreement made by the minor has no effect in the eyes of law. And later on, in the case of Leslie versus Shield, it was held that if a minor has gained any benefit under the minor's agreement, then such benefit shall be restored. And it was also held that only restoration of property which can be traceable shall be made, and no restitution of such thing, and there will be no restitution of such thing. But later on, in an Indian case, um, in an Indian case, it was held that uh, uh, restitution can also be made uh, if minors has benefited from such a thing, or minors estate have been benefited from such thing, and the heading of such case was later on incorporated under section 33 of the specific relief act.
Okay. All right. So I'll ask one more question. that under Indian Contract Act, whether it is written anywhere that minors agreement is void ab initio?
Sir, under section 11, it is mentioned that
Is it
mm,
mentioned that such agreement is void?
no, it is not mentioned like that. It is mentioned as a competency competency of the parties to the contract. And
Competency. Okay.
yes, sir.
All right. Okay. What is nudum pactum?
The nudum pactum means without consideration. Any agreement without consideration shall be void.
How consideration in Indian law and English law is different?
That in Indian law, there may be past consideration, present consideration, or future consideration.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
No, my question is that how consideration in Indian law and English law is different.
So in India, there is no privity of consideration, and in uh, England there is privity of consideration. Like in Indian law, for the to make a contract, strangers to the contract can also pay the consideration, but in English law, uh, uh, strangers to the contract cannot make the consideration.
Whether a Muslim nikah is a contract.
Yes, sir.
Can you give some examples?
Yes, sir. It involves offer, which we call ijab, and the acceptance, which is qabul, and along with a token for the as a token of respect towards the bride, meher is being paid. So uh, the character of
Whether
Indian
it is
is
a totally a contract.
not totally a contract, but
Why?
contractual in nature.
What elements it is not having in nikah?
Sir, in nikah, it is a religious mandate. It is obligatory for Muslims to have nikah. So there
Is it
is
obligatory?
to some extent it is obligatory. It is for their benefit, and Muslims should get into nikah.
My
And
question, I believe you have not understood. My question is that what elements of contract is not there in Muslim nikah?
the enforceability in the by the law.
How?
Uh, uh, the Muslim married party, when there is contract between a Muslim man and a Muslim woman, that they will get nikah, and such dower will be paid on the event of nikah. And if such any of the party uh, breach that agreement, there is no remedy in the law.
Why the other party cannot go for restitution of conjugal right in the form of
If
specific
there is
performance of a
agreement,
contract?
if there is uh, if there is contract for for nikah, and nikah has not been done prior to nikah, one of the parties retracted from the agreement.
Okay. Okay. Prior to the ijab, ijab or kabul, that is nikah
Yes,
contract,
sir.
right?
And
Okay. What is haq
to get
shufa?
haqq shufa is concept which means right of preemption. And right of preemption means if we are having any co-sharer or neighbor, and we want to sell our property, then such co-sharer or the neighbor will have the first right to purchase that property. And the main object behind the right of preemption is uh, not to entertain the strangers.
Okay. All right. There are three types of preemptions. Hakshofa.
Yes, sir.
Can you name it?
Yes, sir. Shafi Sharik, Shafi Khalid, and Shafi Jar.
Shafi'e Sharik is based upon what?
Sir, co-sharer,
And Shafi'e Jar.
uh, extended and extend neighbor.
Okay. What is the purest form of talaq?
Sir, Talaq Ahsan.
Talaq and Hassan. What is how it is performed?
So Talaq Ahsan is the single pronouncement of talaq during the period of purity of the bride, and the and she has to wait during for the iddat period. And
Whether nikah halala is constitutional or not, and under which case there is a reference related to this.
the nikah halala is not constitutional, and it is against the dignity and modesty of a woman. And sir, I'm sorry, I'm not able to recall the case at the moment in which case the reference of nikah halala has been given.
What is triple talaq?
So triple talaq means talaq comes under the purview of talaqul biddat, and where uh, pronouncement is made three times in without regard to the purity period of the woman. And the nature of such talaq is irrevocable, and instantly the marriage becomes marriage dissolved, and such pronouncement is in nature irrevocable, which cannot be revoked.
Okay. All right. One question that whether India is a happy state.
Sir, as per the released data of the index ha- uh, happiness index data, uh, India, the rank of India was very poor. So as per such data, we cannot say that India is a happy state.
According to you,
According to me, I am happy, so I will consider it
what is
a happy state.
happiness and what is
Hap-
discipline?
Sir, happiness means being grateful in every situation and
Mhm.
not to complain about every situation. That is happiness. If we find gratefulness um, and calmness in any situation, whether it is difficult or whether it is of any sort, we will, if we are grateful, we will be happy. And discipline is to be respectful towards everyone,
Is it discipline to respectful?
to be respectful, to follow the rules and norms of the society,
So
to
these are
make.
the two different things that respectable and follow.
Yes, sir, being disciplined is required by the society, and being um, uh, grateful is voluntarily. People may be grateful for anything, and people might not
So
be.
since you have studied in Aligarh Muslim University, that is in Uttar Pradesh,
Yes, sir.
so why you are not looking for UP cadre?
So because Bihar is my home state.
Just because
And
Bihar is your home state, you would like to go for Bihar? Why
it,
only Bihar? Why not other states?
Other state could be there, but I since my preparation time, I always prepare for Bihar judiciary, and Bihar is very close to my heart because of my home state, and I did not get
Judiciary does not
time.
work upon the emotions,
Yes, sir.
right? Anyways, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.